Have you ever actually stopped and done the math on your daily life? You wake up at 7 a.m., grind through traffic for an hour, work 8 solid hours, then crawl back home for another hour. That's 10 hours of your day, every single day, traded for a paycheck. And what does that paycheck do? Most of it disappears the second it hits your account. Rent, groceries, that subscription you forgot you had, a coffee here, a takeout meal there. By the end of the month, you look at your balance and wonder where it all went. Sound familiar? Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to admit. You will never invest your way from $100 to $10,700 in any reasonable amount of time. I'm going to be straight with you because the internet is full of people lying about this. If you put $100 in the stock market and add another $100 a month, it takes you almost 6 years to hit $10,700. 6 years. Nobody watching this video has the patience for that, and honestly, you shouldn't. At the $100 stage, the stock market is not your wealth builder. It's a savings account with slightly better returns, that's it. So what actually works? What's the real, proven, boring path from $100 to $10,700 that regular people use every single day in this country? 3 letters. Sales. Buying something cheap and selling it for more. That's it. That's the entire secret. And before you roll your eyes, let me tell you something. We live in the easiest country in human history to do this. There are literal gold mines sitting in every neighborhood, and most people walk right past them because they're too proud, too lazy, or too distracted scrolling Instagram. Today, I'm not going to give you a magic formula, because magic formulas don't exist. But what I am going to give you is something better. A boring, repeatable system that thousands of regular people are using right now to flip $100 into $10,700 in 6 to 12 months. Not 10 years, not 5 years, months. The catch? You actually have to do the work. The good news? The work is way easier than you think. Before we get into the step-by-step, we need to destroy 3 massive myths that keep most people stuck at zero. Myth number 1. You need money to make money. This is probably the most damaging belief out there. The reality? Some of the most profitable resellers in the country started with literally $20 in a car. They drove to a garage sale, bought a power tool for $5, sold it on Facebook Marketplace that night for $40, and used that $40 to buy more inventory the next morning. The money isn't the bottleneck. The willingness to start is. Myth number 2. All the good deals are gone. People think the reselling game is saturated, that everyone already knows about Goodwill and yard sales. Wrong. I walked into a Goodwill last month and watched someone leave a vintage Pyrex bowl on the shelf that sells for $80 on eBay. Sticker price? $4. The deals aren't gone. Most people just don't know what they're looking at. It's like walking through a forest. To one person, it's just trees. To someone who studied mushrooms, half the forest is dinner. Myth number 3. You need to be a salesman type. People assume reselling requires charisma, sales skills, the gift of gab. Wrong again. The platforms do all the selling for you. eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, Poshmark. You take a clear photo, write an honest description, set a fair price. The buyer finds you. There's no cold calling, no convincing, no pitching. If you can post a photo on Instagram, you have all the sales skills you need. So why is $100 the magic starting number? Because $100 is enough to buy roughly 10 to 25 items at a thrift store, garage sale, or estate sale. And here's the math that should get you excited. If you flip those items at an average 3 times markup, which is genuinely conservative in this game, your $100 becomes $300. Reinvest that $300, it becomes $900. Reinvest that $900, it becomes $2,700. Reinvest one more time, you're at $8,100. One more cycle, you're past $10,700. That's 5 flip cycles. Done aggressively, that's 4 to 6 months. Done casually on weekends, it's 8 to 12 months. Either way, it's not 10 years. It's not even 2 years. I remember the first item I ever flipped. I was broke, frustrated, and tired of watching YouTube videos about investing $50 a month. I drove to a Goodwill on a Saturday morning with $40 in my pocket and zero confidence. I spent 45 minutes walking the aisles feeling stupid, like everyone could tell I had no idea what I was doing. Then I spotted a pair of work boots on the shelf. Red Wings, barely worn, priced at $12. I'd seen identical ones sell for over $100 on eBay because I'd spent the night before researching. My hands were actually shaking when I put them in my cart. I sold those boots 4 days later for $135. Profit on one item, $123, more than 10 times my investment. I sat in my car after dropping that package at the post office and just laughed. Not because of the money, but because I just discovered that the entire economy has price gaps everywhere, and most people were too busy to notice. As Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, said, "There's only one boss, the customer, and he can fire everybody from the chairman on down simply by spending his money somewhere else." The flip side of that quote is what nobody tells you. Wherever customers are willing to spend more, there's an opportunity for someone willing to find the same thing for less. But here's the key question. If reselling is so simple, why do most people fail at it? The answer is they have no system. They buy random stuff, list it lazily, and quit after 2 weeks because they didn't get rich in a month. So let me share my $100 to $10,700 framework, broken into 3 core layers I call the hunting ground, the flip engine, and the reinvestment loop. Layer 1, the hunting ground. Where to find your inventory. Your sourcing locations matter more than your selling skills. If you buy in the wrong places, no amount of marketing fixes it. Here are the gold mines, ranked by profit potential. Goodwill and thrift stores, the classic for a reason. Books, vintage glassware, designer clothing, name brand sneakers, board games, and small electronics regularly sell at thrift stores for 5 to 10% of their resale value. Hit them on weekday mornings when new inventory drops and the crowds are thin. Garage sales and estate sales. This is where the real money is. People pricing items at estate sales often have no idea what things are worth, and they're motivated to clear the house. Show up early, bring cash, be polite. Estate sales especially can yield power tools, furniture, jewelry, and collectibles at 10 to 20 cents on the dollar. Facebook Marketplace. Most people on Marketplace are decluttering, not running a business. They want stuff gone. Filter for free items, then filter by price low to high. You'll find people giving away furniture, exercise equipment, and electronics that flip for $50 to $300. The arbitrage between Marketplace and eBay alone has built full-time incomes for thousands of people. Buy nothing groups and curb alerts. Free inventory. People in wealthier neighborhoods throw out things that would be considered treasures elsewhere. Drive through nicer neighborhoods on bulk trash days. I'm not joking. The hunting ground is everywhere. It's like fishing. The fish are in the water whether you cast a line or not. The only question is whether you show up. Layer 2, the flip engine, knowing what to buy. This is where most beginners crash and burn. They buy stuff they think is cool instead of stuff that sells. Cool doesn't pay rent. Sold listings pay rent. Before you buy anything, open the eBay app and tap the search bar. Type the item name, then filter by sold listings. This shows you exactly what that item has actually sold for in the last 90 days. Not what people are asking, what people actually paid. This single feature is the most powerful tool in reselling, and it's free. Here's your buying rule. The item has to sell for at least 3 times what you're paying, after fees and shipping. If a thrift store wants $10 for something, sold listings need to show it averaging $35 to $40 minimum. Anything less, walk away. Discipline here is everything. Stick to categories with high resale demand and easy shipping. Vintage clothing, especially branded sweatshirts, leather jackets, and band tees. Power tools, especially DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Makita. Cookware, especially cast iron and vintage Pyrex. Video games and consoles. Lego sets. Designer handbags, but only if you learn to spot fakes. Books, but only first editions, textbooks, or out-of-print specialty titles. Avoid heavy furniture unless you sell locally only. Avoid clothing with shoulder pads from the 90s unless it's specifically vintage. Avoid anything you can't authenticate. It's like becoming a hunter. At first, every shape in the woods looks the same. After a few weeks of training your eye, you start spotting opportunities everywhere, even when you're not looking for them. I now can't walk into a thrift store without my brain automatically scanning shelves and calculating margins. It becomes second nature. Layer 3, the reinvestment loop, where compounding actually happens. This is the layer that separates people who make pocket money from people who hit $10,700. The rule is simple but brutal. For the first 90 days, every single dollar of profit gets reinvested into more inventory. Not paid to yourself, not used for groceries, not spent on a celebratory dinner, reinvested. Here's why this matters. If you flip $100 into $300, then keep $200 for yourself and only reinvest $100, you stay stuck flipping $100 forever. But if you reinvest the entire $300, your next cycle generates $900. The cycle after that, $2,700. The cycle after that, $8,100. The compounding only works if you keep feeding the machine. I know that sounds painful. After your first big flip, every cell in your body wants to take that money out and treat yourself. Don't. You can treat yourself in month 4 when you're sitting on $5,000 in inventory and cash. The first 90 days are sacred. Treat them like a snowball rolling down a mountain. Every time you stop to pull off a chunk, the snowball loses size and momentum. Let it roll until it's a boulder. The 5-step execution plan. Step 1. Pick your platform and create accounts today. Sign up for eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and Mercari. All free. All take about 10 minutes total. Link a PayPal account for eBay payouts. Done. Step 2. Spend one evening on eBay's sold listings to learn your category. Pick one category you have some interest in or knowledge about. Vintage clothing if you like fashion. Power tools if you're handy. Books if you read. Video games if you grew up gaming. Spend 2 hours just looking at sold listings to understand what sells, what brands matter, what prices are realistic. This 2 hours is your entire MBA. Step 3. Take your $100 and hit 3 thrift stores or 1 estate sale this weekend. Bring your phone. Look up sold listings before buying anything. Apply the 3 times rule strictly. If you only spend $40 of your $100 because you couldn't find good deals, that's fine. Discipline beats activity every time. Step 4. List everything within 48 hours of buying. Inventory sitting in your garage isn't making money, it's costing you opportunity. Take clear photos against a plain background. Write honest, detailed descriptions. Price slightly below the lowest sold listing for fast turnover. Speed of cycle matters more than maximizing each individual sale early on. Step 5. Reinvest 100% of profits for the first 90 days. This is the only step that actually determines whether you hit $10,700 or fizzle out at $500. The math doesn't work without this. It's like trying to run a marathon while stopping at every water station to take a 10-minute break. Eventually, you stop running entirely. The real math. No 10-year promises. Let's get specific about how $100 becomes $10,700. With a 3 times markup average, which is genuinely conservative if you're disciplined, here's the cycle math. Cycle 1. $100 becomes $300. Time, about 2 weeks. Cycle 2. $300 becomes $900. Time, about 3 weeks. Cycle 3. $900 becomes $2,700. Time, about 4 weeks. Cycle 4. $2,700 becomes $8,100. Time, about 5 weeks. Cycle 5. $8,100 becomes $24,300, but you'll cross $10,700 well before completing this cycle. Total realistic timeline if you treat this seriously on weekends? 4 to 6 months to cross $10,700. If you're casual about it and only flip a few items per week, 8 to 12 months. Either way, this is not a decade-long retirement plan. This is a real, physical, weekend warrior path that thousands of people are walking right now in every city in America. And the kicker? Once you hit $10,700 in working capital, the game completely changes. Now you can afford to buy entire estate sale lots, attend auctions, source from liquidation pallets, and start scaling beyond a single hustler operation. That's where the next level lives. But you can't get there without doing the unsexy first reps. Your biggest asset isn't your bank account. Here's the hard truth nobody starting out wants to hear. The skills you build flipping items are worth more than the money you make doing it. Reselling teaches you negotiation, market research, customer service, photography, copywriting, and most importantly, the absolute conviction that you can generate income outside of a job. That last skill is priceless. It changes how you walk through the world. I have a friend who started flipping vintage Levi's jeans on eBay during a layoff. He had $80 to his name and 2 months of unemployment left. He hit $1,000 in his first month, $4,500 his second, and crossed $10,700 by month 4. But here's the part that matters. By month 6, he wasn't even reselling anymore. He'd used the cash to launch a small custom apparel brand, because the reselling had taught him exactly what people were willing to pay for. The flipping wasn't the destination, it was the training. He told me later that the flipping months were the most important education of his life, because they broke a belief he didn't know he had, that money could only come from a paycheck. The lesson? Reselling is a wealth-building system, but it's also a self-belief system. You're not just stacking dollars, you're stacking proof that you can take action and create value out of nothing. That belief is what carries you to the next $10,700, then $100,000, then beyond. Once you cross $10,700, the game changes completely. And that's where part 2 picks up, with how to make that money work for you. Do this immediately after watching. Don't close this and tell yourself you'll start next month. Next month doesn't exist. Right now, do these 3 things in this exact order. First, open eBay and search sold listings in any category you find interesting. Just look at the prices. Get your eyes calibrated. Second, find the nearest thrift store, Goodwill, or estate sale happening this weekend on Google Maps. Put it in your calendar right now as an actual appointment. Third, pull $100 in cash and put it in an envelope marked inventory. That money is no longer spending money. It's working capital. That's it. 3 small actions. Total time investment, maybe 20 minutes. But those 20 minutes are how you cross from being someone who watches videos about money into someone who actually generates it. Listen, I'm not selling you a magic formula. There isn't one. Anyone telling you otherwise is lying or selling a course. What I am telling you is that the path is far easier than the gurus pretend. You don't need a degree, capital, connections, or charisma. You need a phone, $100, and a Saturday morning. That's literally the entire entry fee. The reason most people don't do this isn't because it's hard. It's because it's unglamorous. There's no Instagram flex in posting your first $15 thrift store flip on eBay. But that $15 flip is exactly what builds the muscle that gets you to $10,700. The people chasing crypto and meme stocks aren't your competition. They're not even in the race. Your real competition is the version of yourself who keeps saying, "I'll start when I have more time," or "I'll start when I find the right niche." Both of those statements are just fear wearing a costume. The right time is this Saturday. The right niche is whatever you can find in the thrift store nearest to you. $100 isn't life-changing, but the person you become while turning that $100 into $10,700 absolutely is. You'll learn that money isn't something you wait to receive. It's something you can create through skill, attention, and effort. Once you internalize that, you'll never be financially stuck again. That's not just financial freedom. That's a permanent shift in how you see the world. That's the real prize. The $10,700 is just the receipt. The best time to start was 5 years ago. The second best time is this Saturday morning. Take action now.